And I think there is a certain light at the end of the tunnel. Let's see how the situation develops. If not, then we will have to solve all the tasks set before us by military means.
Just 48 hours after Vladimir Putin warned in Beijing that if diplomacy failed, Russia would solve the Ukraine war by military means. His words turned into action. Overnight, Ukraine was rocked by the largest aerial assault since the full-scale invasion began. On September 7th, Russia launched 810 drones and 13 missiles in a coordinated strike across Kyiv, Sumy, Zaporizhzhia, Odessa, Kryvyi Rih, and Dnipro. Ukraine's Air Force says 747 drones and 4 missiles were intercepted, but hits were recorded at 33 locations nationwide. At least 2 were killed in Kyiv, including a mother and her infant child, while over 40 others were injured, including 20 in the capital, 4 in Sumy, and 17 in Zaporizhzhia. For the first time, smoke was seen rising from the roof of Ukraine's Cabinet of Ministers building, signaling a dangerous escalation. Moscow has insisted the strikes were not against civilians, but against Ukrainian military infrastructure.
The Russian armed forces delivered a massive strike employing high-precision arms and strike unmanned aerial vehicles against facilities where long-range drones had been manufactured, assembled, repaired, stocked, and launched. Moreover, the strikes were delivered at military air bases in the central, southern, and eastern parts of Ukraine, including the Kyiv 67 industrial enterprise in the western suburbs of Kyiv and the STS Grup logistic base in the southern part of Ukraine's capital.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, in a late-night address, confirmed that Kyiv endured over 7.5 hours of air alerts, with rubble still being cleared and fears of more bodies under the debris. He hailed his military for intercepting more than 150 drones and missiles in one night, but warned Putin was testing the resolve of the West. Zelensky urged partners for stronger sanctions, fresh air defense systems.
Obviously, Russia is trying to inflict pain on Ukraine, and the blows are more sudden. This is a clear sign that Putin is testing the world, whether they will accept it or not. Therefore, it is important that the statements of leaders, states, institutions were continued by strong actions, sanctions against Russia, against people associated with Russia, and by strong tariffs and other restrictions on trade with Russia. Their losses must be felt, and this is convincing, and also our remoteness.
U.S. President Donald Trump, asked about the strikes at Joint Base Andrews, said he was not happy with Putin. Trump also confirmed that European leaders are traveling to Washington this week for Ukraine talks.
Making you less trustful of him?
Well, nobody was tougher in Russia than me. That has to do with the pipeline, as you know, Nord Stream 2 and lots of other things. But I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm not happy about the whole situation. You know, it's interesting. It doesn't affect us because it's not our soldiers.
This escalation came just days after 26 of Ukraine's allies pledged to send troops into Ukraine as a reassurance force once peace is agreed. Putin has previously warned that if NATO troops entered the war, Russia would not hesitate to use force against them, framing the conflict as one against the entire Western alliance.
Indeed, today we have 26 countries that have formally committed themselves. Several others are still clarifying their position, but 26 countries that have committed to deploying troops as a reassurance force in Ukraine.
As for possible troop deployment in Ukraine, this is one of the root causes, dragging Ukraine into NATO. If any troops appear there, especially now while fighting is ongoing, we assume that they will be legitimate targets.
With Putin escalating militarily, Zelensky demanding harsher sanctions, and Trump struggling to balance diplomacy with deterrence, questions remain whether peace is even possible. For now, Ukraine's skies are burning, civilians are dying, and the war that Putin once called a special operation has turned into a brutal stalemate, where peace may already be a lost cause.